My name is Mike Brennek. I'm representing Project SUMBA, which is Sustainable Urban Mobility in Baltic Cities. And why we deal with commuting? Well, it is a big issue. As you can see, this is a, 2016 research project. So you can see lots of European cities, and commuting into the city and out of the city is a big, big problem. And it's, it's not only because we like to commute, it's because we must. So the economic change and the urban sprawl and the way we want to travel, the way we want to work, and if we search for the quality jobs, that we are more willing to travel. This creates the need to make that travel. And of course, this is more of an issue also if you want to think the otherwise, if you want to think, how do you choose the place you live in? As the prices in the city centers grow, you are pushed to look for your place outside of the city center. And in many cases, especially in Central and Eastern Europe, especially in Poland, it is visible that you have to go outside of the city. So the suburbs grow like crazy. And at the same time, we want to create green transport and green environment. But commuting, the daily commute, is really a biggest contribution to, of course, pollution. But the negative impacts are also the traffic congestion, the health risks. There is also issues relating to stress and aggression on the road. So it is not an issue that we can just skip. We also see in the project and in the scientific literature on the topic that it is a low-hanging fruit. So if we want to take care of our emissions, the intermodality in commuting, or the commuting itself, or the way we commute, is the easiest way we can lower our emissions from transport. And of course, we would say that most desirable would be walking or cycling or using public transport. But at the same time, again, this is a special case, not only for Central and Eastern Europe, but it is especially visible here. We do choose cars, and cars alone. There are a couple of factors that are contributing to this situation. It is either a journey time, but it can be a real journey time, or a perceived one. We want to have a personal space or privacy, or we perceive that monetary costs of owning a car are lower than owning a subscription ticket for the public transport. We also sometimes want to have a control over the surrounding environment, which of course is limited in the public transport environment. And one thing that is contributing to car use, especially here in Poland, is the perceived status of a car. So this is not an easy topic, but a possible one. So as the average times of the commute are increasing due to suburbanization, we need to think of a way that we can have this trip realized without creating other problems, such as, of course, traffic congestion, accidents, the costly infrastructure need to be built, etc., etc. But on the other hand, we already had a very good example here, especially here in Central Europe. There was a concept of a municipality or a district within a city, similar to today's 20-minute city. So a city where you can work, go shopping, go to seek some education or cultural activities within a 20-minute distance, either on foot, either on bike, or by public transport. It was already there in the 70s and the 80s. And those are as we would say, those ugly concrete blocks. Yeah, those are ugly concrete blocks, but they're organized in a way that you have access to schools, to different facilities, to different services, to shops, etc., within your area, within walking distance. So we already were there. In case of costly infrastructure, the one you see on the right, I don't know if you see my mouse. Can you see my mouse? Probably not. So I will have a laser pointer.
Laser pointer works.
Rather the pointer?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
yes.
rather the pointer. So here you see it's called Kwiatkowski Estacade, one of the biggest road constructions in Gdynia and one of the most troublesome because it is right now, I would say, heavily abused, and it is falling apart. At the same time, it connects two parts of the city. This is a residential area to the northwest. Here in that corner is the start of another residential area, and here is the port of Gdynia. And of course, you cannot go through the port facilities, so you go over. And this is only one road that can lead you there. So this is a costly piece of infrastructure, costly to maintain, a big one. It takes lots of space. And of course, as you probably suspect, the traffic jams in here are absolutely state of the art. The other issue is the culture of commuting by car created an environment when we would build a first ring road, second ring road, to move the traffic away. Well, we hope that it is a transit traffic that will not come into the city center, but it happens most often that people will build housing near that road and use it for daily commute, creating lots of other problems. So, as you say, it is not easy to tackle this. And of course, I must say that the capacity of the infrastructure, as it is directed towards the peak usage, is so the times with high demand, it is both not easy to plan, but at the same time, it is not used during the day. I will show you that on the example of Gdynia. So why is it a big issue? Well, the cost of commute is not only what you pay, but it is also of what society pays. So there are externalized costs. And these are both, you do not pay directly for the upkeep of infrastructure, etc. And you definitely, it is really hard actually to put a monetary value on health, on public health, and the risks that motorized traffic will create. So it's really not easy to assess the costs. If we look at a common indicator, which is CO2 emissions, just by carpooling, you cut your emissions by half. You cut your emissions to the level when you could drive some kind of hybrid or electric vehicle. If you want to go lower, the commuter rail, the subway, or any actually mode of public transport, those are getting greener and greener, is the best. Walking and cycling and the telecommuting, yes, this is a solution. But believe me that sometimes there are administrative challenges Even in our project, we faced that our controlling authority was glad to grant a value to telecommuting only when the pandemic struck. So this is not only a change in a way we do our daily drives or do our daily trips, but this is a huge paradigm change to be needed. So we do not only need, new electric buses, new green modes of transport, but we also need leaders. We also need visionaries. We also need information and data on how it is better. So it's really not an easy task to do. So we believe that, and as we already proved in our project, intermodality is a way of more sustainable transport. If you say eco, you usually mean green, but eco also mean economy. So if you look at the examples, these are my favorite. I would actually love to have a tram like that in Warsaw. Not to mention that the middle picture is helping the cyclist. You can see how this transport mode is helping the cyclist go uphill. But on the right hand, there is another mode, another way of intermodality. So intermodality is a buzzword for quite some time in freight transport. So container terminals use the word intermodality in any shape or form. So what is intermodality? So it is a combination of different transport modes, and it offers the possibility, which is very important, to combine individual advantages of each transport mode. And by combining those advantages, we get synergy effect and the overall trip chain regards to time, efficient use of infrastructure, energy, your quality of travel is bigger than if we would use only one way of transport. So by engaging in intermodality, the cities can focus on greener PT, greener public transport equipment, or greener modes of transport. And of course, we are creating the cities that are livable and the cities for humans, not for cars. And I will speak about Gdynia's case, which I was a citizen of Gdynia for a couple of years. And we observed lots of positive and negative changes. And so the 70s principle of design of city district was there, but we also observed those green developments, like greenhouses that you can buy full of photovoltaic power, wind power, you name it. But there is no pavement. You can only access this house by a car. So the road to green future or not? So welcome to Gdynia. This is our observing city, so not a full member of the project. On this picture, you can see the Gulf of Gdańsk. This is the anchorage number 3, which means the port is over there. Why do I mention the port? Because this is one of the constraints the city faces. This is a city built around the port, and right now it is one of the biggest constraints. Then they have the hills, and of course this is a landscape park, and you have big arteries to and from the city. So let's have a brief look at how the Gdynia is situated. It is southeastern coast of the Baltic Sea. The region is called the Three City. We have the city of Gdańsk, Sopot, and Gdynia. They are situated near the Gulf of Gdańsk. So the biggest one is Gdańsk, the little one is Sopot, and this is Gdynia. So to the north, you have hills. This is also a housing district. To the south, you have also housing districts. And here, right across, those are hills. And in here, we have a port. So as you can see, the port digs deeply through the city and actually divides the city onto halves, with Oksivia district is in here and the city center is in here. And we have only one road. This is the road. This is Estakada Kwiatkowskiego. This is this heavy abused road that links these two cities. And of course, as the prices of land and prices of housing goes up and up in Gdynia, especially as it became the IT sector for the Scandinavian banking, people move away, especially in here to these northern municipalities. And here is Rumia. It's also a kind of a bedroom for Gdynia. And as you can imagine, it creates huge loads on these two roads. And there is no good solution for that. As you can see on the right, in 2015, the car drivers dominated the landscape of the transport modes. Only 6% was driving with passenger. So it's really the reason for that is this northern, so the municipalities outside of Gdynia are not connected via public transport routes at all. So a car is a very good solution. This is one thing. But within the city, the bus or bike is really growing as a mode of transport, because through the three city there is a light rail truck that really connects the region. So they also have very good assets that they can use to promote greener transport. The good thing also is that Gdynia is data oriented and they are experimenters. But only main arteries are being modeled, so there is no overall concept of the transport system. And unfortunately, a port is not a part of the solution. So if you can imagine, these waters are sheltered port waters. So there is no reason why there cannot be a ferry line from Oksivia down to the city center.
Michal,
Yeah.
Sorry for interruption, but it's time to wrap up. The case of Gdynia, as some other presentation made for us.
Well, I thought I have 20 minutes, so.
Yes.
So I'm moving forward. No worries.
Yes. Okay.
And as you can see, the statistic can lie. So this is the statistics for the time required to reach the center of the three city. But this is the statistics over a day. So in the morning peak, in the morning rush hour, and in the afternoon rush hour, this is absolutely not true. But of course, intermodality is managing better what is already available. And we can see that the biggest thing that Gdynia did is change the organization of traffic for buses. So when one lane is stuck in the traffic jam, they use another one only for buses. And this created absolutely brilliant change. The second thing is, of course, introducing the bikes, but it is a bit hard in the city center of Gdynia because the roads are very, very narrow. All right, I need to move in here. So is it really a science fiction? On the left side, you can see how it is being done regarding to data gathering for self-driving cars, etc. So more data are being generated, and we all need to have a structure to actually use those data. But on the right side, you have the city of Gdynia as it looked in the 70s, as it was planned in the 70s. Those are functional quarters of a city, all with services, etc. Of course, they are being cut by huge lanes. So this is a pity. The SUMBA way is about elegant solutions and about public participation. This is also very important. We developed a couple of tools that will be presented later on. Do pop into the presentation of Kai Gade, who will present on the assessment intermodalizer assessment method for intermodality. Do have a look at what Colin Hale is to present about commuter master plans, which are directly feeding into SUMB's sustainable urban mobility plans. So a lot is going on, and it is really only about reorganizing and better managing what is already there, and we can really achieve lots of positive impact just by doing so. Of course, we need data-based oriented decision making, and that's why we also published a nice guide on data gathering and modeling. So if I would leave you with one thought after this presentation, it would be, do not be afraid and start with what you have. It's only about putting the puzzles into the right places. Thank you very much. And if you would like to know more, please visit zumba.eu. And yeah, that's it. Thanks.